Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Football Baithak. My name is Adil Muazzam, and I'm joined here by my fellow data analyst, Atal. How are you today, Atal?
I'm good. Thank you for having me, Adil bhai.
Okay, so we're here to discuss the recent match that we had between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia that took place in Doha on the 7th of December. So just to start off, Atal, I want to ask you, do you have any initial thoughts about the match? How do you think that it went for us?
Yeah, as you said, we had a match in Doha against Saudi. So, from the squad perspective, as you see, we had a little bit of shuffle. We had some changes. So it was like we had some key players like Kayla, who was in the part of the SAF, and Kaya were also who were not part of this squad. So it was you would say a new group. Maybe not majority of them were the group that Adil has picked for during this tenure, but we saw some new faces too in the squad. We had some players not available too. So overall, it was a bit exciting to see the women's team compete against Saudi on a well recognized platform and a good decent opponent.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I completely agree. And some sort of notable inclusions that I was actually particularly happy about. One was Iman Mustafa coming into the team. So, as we know, she was the top scorer in the National Women's Championships. Of course, didn't make the SAF Games squad, but it was good to see her, even though she didn't, I do not believe she got onto the pitch. But good that, they're including her as part of the squad because I think she's a very good player. And also in goal, so we had the two new players, Jihan and sorry, I forget the other one's name all the time. The keeper from Quetta.
Yeah,
Um, so again, two very very promising prospects in my opinion, and I was very happy to see a girl from Quetta as well making the national team because we know how much talent, how many talented women footballers there are on that part of Pakistan. So of course, good to have them in the squad as well. So in terms of let's break it down. So in terms of defensively, how do you have any points on that, or how do you think that we did?
I think the game yesterday, one of the like major positive for me was our defense. I mean, our back four was brilliant. I don't think so. Saudi had a clear-cut chance for the majority of the game. Obviously, they had some chances, but no, I think our keeper was not even in a situation where you could feel that she was being compromised or she was left for something too much to do. Our defense was always there, apart from the corner, which I think was a mess at the back. But our defense was really solid. We also saw some great performances from the two centre backs. They were brilliant when ball playing. I mean, and out of possession, our shape was pretty good. Uh, like one of the major positive that I took from yesterday was our out of possession shape and our defense because that looked really solid. Obviously, there was some criticism, or you could say some like pressure on Adil because he was playing Sana Mehdi out of position. This is a second game, I think. This is the second game as a left back, or not the second one, but after the SAF, this coming from the SAF, this is a like she's played only 5 games at that position, and I think she's that pretty good in that position, considering she's a midfielder. But and people also was calling for, I mean, Nizalia to play after her performances in the National Women's Championship. But I think the coaches really earned their money on the results. You could only judge them on the results, and seeing the results after India, our defense has been flawless. I mean, you could not say flawless, but they've been pretty good when you compare them to the previous performances. So yesterday I would say they were flawless, except that one corner mistake. Apart from that, they were brilliant.
Right. So I actually have to agree with you. In that I think that it was a very, a lot of positives in our defense. One, in terms of how well they were structured. I thought the structure was brilliant. And so, yes, whilst we did concede the corner kick, I think that one thing, and this was actually quite unique to the match that we had yesterday, is because there wasn't much of a crowd, and I guess they had microphones absolutely everywhere, so you could actually pick up a lot of what was being said. And again, one thing we know how big a character Maria Khan is to our team, and but one very positive aspect I felt yesterday was how sort of how vocal she was and how much everybody was communicating inside the box as to sort of what they needed to do. Yeah, it was a bit of a scrappy goal we conceded. It's always difficult to concede from a corner, and I believe the one that we conceded was the second or the third corner in that same sequence where they had a corner and it went out and they had another one. So maybe something to be worked on there in terms of set pieces. But apart from that, I thought we were very good. I thought the communication was very good. It was a bit of a scrappy goal to concede, but I don't think it was that bad. I completely agree with you in terms of the center back pairing, and I mentioned this as well whilst we were watching the match, if you remember, is that I really love how well Sophia and Maria played off each other. I thought that was excellent. You could see that one of them was going forward as the aggressor and the other one was playing was sweeping in behind. Most of the time that was Maria. So I thought that was very, very good. Our left back, Isra, was it Isra Khan, I believe?
Yeah.
I thought she was immense. I thought she was absolutely brilliant. She had great pace, great physicality. She was strong. She made great decisions. So that for me was a huge plus. I thought she was excellent, and especially as well. And we'll talk about this later as well. That when Adil put her forward in right on the right hand side of midfield, I thought she was excellent there as well. So that was a very big positive. But for me, I think overall, defensively, my favorite thing about that match was watching us press our offensive press. Because the thing is that as Pakistani football fans, one thing, or as a fan myself, one thing I feel like I've gotten very used to is employing the low block, whether that's we're playing football or we're playing men's football, women's football, futsal, soccer, everything. It seems that we sort of always accept that, the opposition is going to be better than us. But I sort of disagree with that idea in that, I feel like if a team is going to thrash us, we've been thrashed anyway. So what I loved about yesterday is that, our players sort of stepping up, pressing higher up the field, really going after them and I believe really causing them problems. I thought we were very good, in that respect.
One thing I'd like to add, since we're on the defensive side of things, I think the uncertainty around our goalkeeper, because you saw we had a change at halftime too, and you yourself said that we had two new goalkeepers into the squad. You normally don't see that happening because the goalkeeper is a position which is a really concrete sort of position. Even you don't substitute or you don't change it on occasions. It is not conventional in footballing world. I think Coach Adil has a big part, and he has a big challenge in this aspect to find a goalkeeper. Because in set pieces, all right, we say that the defenders have a big part to play, the midfielders have their part, but you need a commanding goalkeeper. You need a keeper who can come out and claim those balls that are near the post. I personally felt our goalkeepers are struggling at the moment in claiming crosses, in claiming those aerial balls. Fine, they do well at shot stopping. We don't need them to be ball playing at the moment. Our system does not want that sort of a keeper. But I think we need a goalkeeper who is good in the air, who's commanding, who can communicate on the communicating of side of things, because the goalkeeper has the best view. So I think that is a position which has left us some holes in the back. And I think that because you yourself said, I think the management is also not clear on the goalkeeper because we're shuffling so much. So it clearly does suggest that there's a problem over there. So Adil bhai, what are your thoughts on this goalkeeping situation at the Pakistan women's team?
Well, so the goalkeeping situation, for me, again, so I believe that Nisha has the ability and the capability to come out and, collect corners. Obviously, it's something that, needs work, no doubt. But because she's tall, I like how she communicates. I think that she's very good in terms of communication. It's difficult when you have sort of a character like Maria in there who's sort of, pulling all the strings. So she's the one that's talking. I accept that a goalkeeper should communicate more, especially from corners as well. But I do like, as I think Nisha is very vocal. She's very loud. She does communicate with her backline quite a lot, and she does have the capacity to come out and collect those corners. In terms of Jihan and Arzu, again, sort of new to the team, so difficult. Anytime you're new to a team, it is difficult to be very vocal. Arzu, obviously, we didn't get to see her play. Jihan, I thought was excellent in the way that it was her international debut. I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And I like how calm she seemed. Inside, I don't know if she was that calm, but on the outside, she exuded a lot of calm and a lot of confidence. And I thought that was very, very impressive for an international debut. Of course, things to be worked on in the goalkeeping department, but I think it's okay for now.
This podcast has been powered by Maidan. Maidan is a pickup app you can use to play football near you. To quickly go over some of its features, the Match tab will enlist all the relevant details for you, like the location and the time. Lineup tab में आपको confirmed players की list, उनकी peer-to-peer ratings और उनके individual statistics भी नजर आएंगे. You can use this tab to join the team. Ground tab में आपको pitch information भी मिल जाएगी. Head over to the Wall tab to interact with the team. The Maidan app also has a create feature which you can use to book yourself a match anywhere and also to find yourself a team. The chat feature allows you to speak to other players. Your match stats can be found underneath the stats tab on your profile. हर मैच के बाद आपको एक पोस्ट मैच एनालिसिस का ऑप्शन मिलेगा जिसमें आप हर प्लेयर को रेट कर सकते हैं. Maidan app also offers you benefits like cashbacks and live bookings are set to be introduced soon. ये ऐप सिर्फ प्लेयर्स नहीं बल्कि ग्राउंड मैनेजर्स को भी cater करती है. They can use the Maidan dashboard to schedule and keep track of matches. So what are you waiting for? Use the pickup app and find yourself a team, a slot, and go play football, even if your friends are too busy.
Okay. So that's good. We got to talk about that. So how about offensively? How did you like our shape or how we set up or the personnel that we had offensively? Because I know that we had a lot to say about this when the match was going on.
Yeah.
But what do you think?
So offensively, I think we had certain problems, especially with our number 9. I think the personnel that the coach chose was wrong for me, and he's been doing it from, like, you can say that he needs time or the player needs time. She's coming back from ANG, but it's been some games where we are seeing the same mistakes that are keep on bar ho rahe. So that's like I'm talking about Nadia. Those of you who know. Basically, she was playing a 9, and I think she did not have the clue or she did not have the help from the team. That was obviously we could say that it was her personal technical abilities that were being challenged, but uski team bhi usko utna help nahi kari thi, wo system usko utna help nahi kar raha. So I think it's the coach's responsibility to kind of get her out of it or help her, so confidence bhi rahe and she gets to play better, because a confident player is a better footballer anyways. Everybody knows that. So you just आप बार बार कर रहे हो उसके साथ और वो वही गलतियां रिपीट कर रहे हैं. So whenever there was no outlet. So what we were doing was we were kicking it long for Nadia to chase, and obviously the Saudi defenders had a huge head start which she could not chase. So इस तरह से touches वैसे ही कम हो गए. जब आप उसके पास ball लाते हैं, she has her back on the goal. Obviously every 9 has her back towards the goal, but she has no players to feed off. She has no players to let the ball or to. Wingers maybe because of our structure थोड़े से पीछे रह जाते हैं या फिर ऐसा कुछ होता है, लेकिन at the time उसके players नहीं होते. Also our midfielders were not helping her. I think as you also suggested that our midfield was very static. We were staying to our positions. हम बहुत rigid थे midfield के लिहाज से. I don't know if ये coach का plan था या ये जैसे आपने suggest किया कि it may be something related to physicality or stamina or something. But हमने minute 1 से भी ये नहीं देखा. We did not even see a glimpse of this, that our players were pushing up or helping Nadia. So offensively, I think the coach got it wrong. You suggested that Zemina should play up front, and we saw a glimpse of her in the 9th position and Nadia drifting out, and that earned us a good shooting opportunity and eventually a corner, and then it led to a goal. So it kind of worked when Zemina came at the central focal point of our attack. She also scored against Bangladesh. So there's a problem in our attacking front flanks, and I think the coach has to rectify it soon enough, because it's been a time since this is happening.
So yeah, again, like I say, that we had a long conversation about this. And well, yeah. So before he switched Zemina over to the center, my thing with Nadia in this playing through the centers. One, I believe you're absolutely right in that Nadia was very isolated to start with. And she was having to play with her back to goal, but I don't believe that sort of play style suits her very well because she's not very strong. She's super quick, which is good, but I feel like she's the type of player that needs a little bit of space, which we saw when she got shifted out wide and she had that space to roam. Though that's when I feel like she was more of a threat coming in from the left hand side. The thing about sort of Zemina up top or any sort of player in that mold up top, I know that Zemina is a winger, but she's got the physicality to be able to fight with those centre backs. And I'll be very honest with you, the two Saudi centre backs by comparison to the type of centre backs that you can find yourself up against in matches like this, I don't think that they were particularly strong or particularly quick. They could have been got at had we had a player up there who was able to do that, who was able to challenge them physically as well as with their pace. I believe that Nadia could threaten them with her pace, but she wasn't strong enough to sort of shrug off their challenges. So yeah, absolutely. In terms of sort of the midfield setup, is I feel like because it's a three in the middle, so one CDM and two sort of, you could say box to box, or I'm sure one's been asked to go a little bit further forward. I agree that we weren't sort of bridging that space, so that false nine attacking midfielder space, or getting close enough to our strikers and our wingers to really help them out. That could be, it could be a fear thing. It could be a being fearful of the opposition or being fearful of being caught out of position. It could be that. It could be down to a lack of stamina, because as we know, as we've talked about a lot, is that a lot of these players aren't getting regular minutes. They sort of come for camps and they come for international matches. So it could be that. But that being said, I think that Pakistan sort of needs a striker who can physically, be a problem for especially if there's nobody plugging that hole just in behind the striker, unless we go to a 4-2-3-1 and we have an out and out attacking mid and two CDMs covering them at the back. I think that we need a striker that can sort of hold up the ball a little bit better. And of course, we know that Nadia Khan is a phenomenal football player. Great, very pacey, and she scored some very important goals for us in the past as well. But just personally for me, I think that if she was playing, a little bit further wide, she would have had the opportunities to be a little bit more, a little bit more dangerous. And on that as well, I will say, so Anmol Hira, to be fair, she started the second half brightly, but I did say, in the first half, she was having a bad half of football.
Yeah.
And that happens sometimes. We know the quality that she possesses, but I don't think that she'll deny that she wasn't at her best in that first half. So it was good. I was very happy to see Isra, move into that right wing position when Anmol came off. Nadia Khan went, out wide left and Zemina through the middle. I thought that that's something that worked very well because Isra provided that pace. We saw her absolutely rinse her fullback a couple of times, and also very strong, individual. So I thought that was something that worked, very well as well, to be honest. But, I don't know, like it was frustrating because I feel like this was a team that we could have really got at. But at times it just seemed like not that we didn't have the personnel, but we had the personnel on the wrong spot, the wrong player at the wrong time. For example, the one-on-one that Nadia got, I would have much rather have had, somebody else in that situation, maybe Zemina, maybe, I feel would have been better. So again, it wasn't for lack of creating opportunities. It was for lack of having the wrong players in the wrong, places at the wrong times, in my opinion. Yeah.
So I want to ask, you yourself said Iman Mustafa, coming off a very good National Women's Championship campaign, is on the bench, and you see, or maybe, okay, if Nadia, she's struggling off confidence. Let's say she's been immense for the women's team, but let's say she's not in a natural group. So would you say that this game, it's a friendly? Okay, you're down 1-0, but it's a friendly, and you've brought the players. Do you think coach should have put Iman Mustafa in that position, or do you think it would have been too demanding from her, or because it was a debut? So how do you think that would have worked?
The thing is that again, because we were talking whilst the match was going on, so that exactly what the coach did is exactly what I wanted, to happen. Yes, of course, you have Iman Mustafa in the subs, and she is a striker, top goal scorer in the National Women's Championship. But again, a debut to put her under that much pressure. I accept that it's a friendly match, but I feel like for Pakistan, there are no friendly matches. You're going up against Saudi, you're going up against these teams, and every time you're the underdog, and you know that if you bring a result, it means a lot more to the footballing community in Pakistan than just a friendly. I'm sure Saudi maybe didn't care as much, but we really, really cared that, and we're very, very proud that we got that draw as well. So, sort of taking that into account and knowing that, we've got these guys and we can really press for a result, and that result would be absolutely huge. I'm happy that Iman went, and I'm happy that she's part of the camp, and I'm happy that she's in and around the team. And I'm sure that going forward, she's going to have a big impact on women's football in Pakistan. But I don't think that was particularly the right time to bring in a complete unknown, and sort of tell her, well, go out and get a goal. Maybe some coaches that are more or less risk averse than that might have gambled on it. I don't think that it would have been the right decision to make.
Yeah.
So
one thing, another that I wanted to add to this was maybe you said if we could have gone for the Isra Khan came from the left back position to the midfield. So maybe we would हम लोग एक बंदा ज़्यादा कर रहे थे mid में. Yes, आपने जैसे बोला कि we were going for a 4 if we had a system that could have helped Nadia and we had a false 9 behind her. So could that have happened? Surely we had the players. I mean, Ramin is very much capable of playing that position. So is Suhaj. They both, for me, they are the most technically able players in the team right now. They could have played that position. So do you think? Because मैं पूछना चाह रहा हूँ कि ये friendlies ही basically, and you have experience coaching with women, so ये friendlies ही basically आपके पास एक opportunity होती है to test different things. Obviously, I get that कि पाकिस्तान को game time नहीं मिलता and we 1-0 down, but I think यहीं से ही शायद these sort of situations do create an opportunity for you to make players and give them that platform and give that canvas to paint it, and maybe come out more for bigger players and help the team in the future, because we just saw we played the SAF and we were very near going into the semis. So I'm just thinking from a outsider perspective that should the coach be putting more effort in experimenting in such friendlies, like sidelining the people's opinions, because he knows it's a process. So should he take it like a process and an experiment around finding his best 11? That's what I'm basically wanting to ask.
No, absolutely. But again, look, we can argue that is, what he did. The one thing that we need to remember is that, look, we see these guys, of course, some of us have seen them at ground level, but as a team, the Pakistan national women's team, we see them for 90 minutes every few months, right? Yeah. And you're talking about, a coaching staff that sees them day in, day out. Especially for camps, and not even just for camps, because we know that a lot of these players are from Karachi City as well, and they play together over there as well. So the coaching staff sees these players day in, day out. So I feel like they have a good idea of what their capabilities are, and I understand that to put Iman Mustafa in as a center forward in that situation would have been a risk. But I feel like it's the same thing to take Nadia and put her out wide and take a winger in Zemina and try and play her up top. That's also an experiment, right? So I don't think it's for a lack of experimentation. We saw a left back go to right wing. That's also an experiment. So I don't think it's for a lack of experimentation. It's just, there's n number of things, and there's n number of football fans that are watching, and there's n number of sort of different things that he could have experimented with. So the thing that he understood, he sort of did. So just to sort of close out now, I do want to ask, so any standout performances for you?
I think for me, the standout performer of this game was obviously Maria Khan, the captain, the skipper. 2-3 balls she played from the back were complete. Like, that dismantled the whole Saudi defense. And apart from that, she was really solid in defense. Commanding, communicating, everything was 10 on 10. The only thing I can criticize her for is again that corner. But again, apart from that, it's a really solid performance, and that's what you expect from your best player. And she does that day in day out. So for me, the stand-up performer was Maria. And again, just as we mentioned, I'd like to mention Isra Khan playing at the left back position. She was immense. She was really good. She was from physical to the technical aspects of the game. She knows it, and she has been completely dominating on that position. So those two are my standard performers. Apart from that, we saw a goal from Soha, but I think her game was she was not up to that level. We see she is, but those are three I would like to mention. Apart from that, if you have any, please do mention.
Fair. I think that I have to agree with you on all three. In that, I think so. Suha took a while to get started. But the wonderful thing about Suha is she's got an incredible work ethic. And we know this, we saw as well in the bleep test. I don't know how much she got, but we saw that, she was ahead of everybody else. And that's the wonderful thing about her is that, she, of course, every player tires, but it feels like she gains energy, as the match goes on and she sort of gets into it more and more. So I thought that was excellent from her. Isra, again, this is sort of the first time that I've really taken a good hard look at her and seen that, that she looks excellent. And of course, I think that Zemina was very, very good. I don't think she's the best that we've ever seen her, but Zemina was absolutely excellent, a brilliant football player. And, I know that maybe anybody that's watching or the fans or whatever, might get tired of hearing this name over and over again, but it's difficult when Maria Khan is she's on a different level. If you talk about her athleticism, her physicality, and then her leadership, her mentality, her communication, the way that she's talking to her players, I think that it's difficult to overlook her, in terms of, everything that she brings to the game and is continuously bringing to the game. Again, I know that Nader in a previous podcast mentioned about how some people were talking about, maybe she's getting on in age and stuff, but I would say that she's, with maturity, she's only getting better and better, which is crazy to think. And yeah, in my opinion, if there was a player of the match for Pakistan in that match, it would have to be Maria Khan. Thank you. So that was coverage of the match that we had between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia women's team. Thank you so much, Atul, for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you to anybody or everybody that's watching this. And feel free to drop a comment. Let us know what you think. Comment on the Instagram post. Comments on the YouTube. Did we get it right? Do you disagree with some things that we say? And that's perfectly fine. And till next time, stay safe and keep supporting Pakistan. Thank you very much.